Welcome to a lesson with Dr. Powell. Let's look at a couple examples of using matrices as maps or as functions, which are called linear transformations from vector spaces, and see what the output would be if we input this vector into this function. Okay, so what's the domain? What's the codomain? Well, here we see 1, 2, so we can imagine the domain should be R2, and sure enough, we have 2 columns. So this is R2. So if we were to try to do something like this, it wouldn't work because we'd be trying to put something that's in R3 into this function that has a domain of R2, and that wouldn't work. So we need to make sure our size matches. So the number of rows that you see right here, or the number of entries right here in this column, have to match the number of columns. So it's in the right domain. The codomain is like, what are the outputs? So this is like the output of E1, which is the 1, 0 vector. This is the output of E2. So the outputs look like they live in R3. So the codomain is R3. So the function goes from R2 to R3. Now, how does it work? Well, simply what we do is we say, so this is a vector that's like 1 times E1 plus 2 times E2, quite literally. And then this function just simply replaces the E1 and the E2 with their images, and that's it. So we basically have 1 times the first column, 1 times the first column, plus 2 times the next column. So pretty much we're taking we can kind of think in our head, we have 1, 3, 0, and we're doubling that column right there. So 4, 2, 2, and then we just add across. So we should end up getting 5, 5, 2. So 1, 2 is sent to 5, 5, 2. Okay, let's see what happens with this one. All right, now what is the domain? Well, number of column. Well, let's see here. This is the function, and this is the input. This is what we're inputting into this function. Looks like the domain is, well, there's 4 columns, and sure enough, we're putting the right thing into the domain. Otherwise, it wouldn't be well defined to try to put this into this function. So the domain is R4. What is the codomain? Well, it looks like it's just R. Because E1 in R4 is being sent to just a number, a real number, and then E2 is being sent to a number and so forth. And so it looks like, yes, it's being sent to R. So the result should be in R as well. All right, so let's see what we do. We basically take 1 times the image of E1 plus 2 times the image of E2 plus 1 times the image of E3 plus 0 times the image of E4. So we can think 1 times 1 plus 2 times 5 plus, so with 1 times 1, 2 times 5, 1 times 3, and then 0 times 2. And we end up getting 1 plus 10, so that's 11, plus 3 is 14, plus 0, so just 14 right there. So we've just run through 2 examples which show us how to use a matrix function with a vector input to see what the output would be. Thanks for watching.